Data, research, analytics, not feelings, emotions, and yelling at one another is how Microsoft intends to pretty much overtake their competition in the gaming space. Now, this overtaking has already been done because they've positioned themselves to do it, number one. And number two, they've acquired the material to do it, which is the content. When I say stuff like this, PlayStation fanboys will lose their minds, even some PC fans. I've seen that even more recently, unless they're lying to me that they're PC fans. Satya Nadella has pretty much come out to talk about how they're doubling down on the Xbox Everywhere strategy. This is something they've talked about for the longest time. But if you think about it, from anyone who does business and looks at what the gaming industry is seeing right now, if you look at, say, what Steam is seeing right now, right? Think about it. The numbers of Steam growth have basically almost doubled since 2020. Right after we came out of lockdowns, you can see that the, average peak users are moving from about 20 million to about 39 million just a few days ago. If this perspective does not shift your thinking of gaming and all you want is exclusives, then, by all means, hang in there or get a Nintendo console because Nintendo is coming pretty soon. The data does not favor them if they go get a more powerful console that every Tom, Dick, and third-party Harry is going to jump on. Well, Satya said something really interesting, and I think this is the highest compliment that Sarah Bond can get from someone who's actually running and steering the ship.
For gaming, if I think about it, right, we chose the secular growth category in entertainment, which we think is gaming, and said, let's double down on it. And it's been a passion for Microsoft ever since. In fact, I think Flight Simulator launched before Windows or Office even. And so it's like one of the longest franchises in this company. And so we said, let's take that joy of gaming everywhere. And that's why even these ads with Xbox now, where we are redefining what it means to be an Xbox fan, it's about being able to enjoy Xbox on all your devices. So our strategy with Activision content now is in full force. We feel fantastic about the progress we've made. And more importantly, I think on long term, as a company, we can bring the best of AI innovation, cloud innovation, console innovation, PC innovation to build the best games that can be enjoyed by gamers everywhere. And the love
you've already heard it. We've said it many times. Some people have been stuck on the console sales numbers as the biggest metric. What Satya Nadella is saying is not news. It's not new either. Some of you heard or read Sony say it, but you pretended like it wasn't real when we were telling you that Sony was freaking out in their boots knowing that their pillars were already dated and behind the competition. Remember when last year stuff leaked out from their hack with Insomniac, and this document, among many others, by the way, many others, but this one was the most summarized version of it. And it says Microsoft can supply multi-game, subscription 50%, console games 50%, PC 60%. Following that, they said Sony's pillars are already dated and behind the competition, and Sony needs to expand. Because Xbox is not pretending to not want to expand. They are clearly moving into the expansive phase in their business. And so for those who are probably looking at the ecosystem as somewhere where you're going to have exclusives to keep you all warm inside, you will not find it in the Xbox ecosystem to the extent that you want. Yes, I think there will be certain aspects that stay with Xbox. I don't know if it's going to be games. I don't know if it's going to maybe be Game Pass. It seems more likely that Game Pass is the exclusive. But now what's happened is PlayStation has caught the attention of some of the heavy hitters within Microsoft. You see, Satya had basically, spearheaded a lot of the different aspects of Microsoft. They've moved and been able to basically make software happen. And it's not like, people make it seem like Microsoft cannot succeed in hardware if it wanted to. But if you think about a lot of the leadership, they haven't necessarily taken the approach that hardware would have needed, basically going and moving through the very difficult challenge of hardware. Xbox has been their test. And I think, based on his statement, their intent about succeeding with everything that Xbox has to offer. You heard him say it. You heard him say it. There is going to be console in the pipeline. The statistics and the data always show it. If you think about what subscription services are doing right now with Xbox, you can already tell, if you look at even old data, that the highest number of Xbox Game Pass subscribers are console owners. Then they're moving in with cloud. They're moving in with different devices to be able to draw more people into the ecosystem without the barrier of needing a console. Because that's one thing. You have diminishing returns on even your own users on how much you can upsell them. So go out there and find more people. This is what PlayStation is going to also do. They need to do it because even they said it in one of their documents that hacked and leaked, which showed their expansion strategy in a small picture. If you go on like Google Images and type up, say, just the images that they correlate with the Insomniac leaks, you see some images that look just like this. And I'll show you this one in the corner right here on NeoGAF, where they're talking about how PlayStation Plus and one of their plans is to actually bring the service to the PC platform. All this talk about Game Pass, yada, 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 not sustainable, blah, 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 is nonsense because Game Pass is already ahead of what PlayStation Plus can even have to offer. Because even here, PlayStation in their own documentation, they pretty much say that the premium content that's available on Game Pass day one is elusive for them and unsustainable in that model. But Xbox is about to prove it by expanding and bringing in more people to the ecosystem, because Game Pass is going to receive the influx and the outflow. Many of you are kind of, surprised, right, as to why PlayStation would want you to have, the PlayStation account to be able to play PlayStation games. What do you think they're probably setting it up for? This is why all of you need to look at the data. You need to find information because they are setting everything up for when they finally bring a subscription service to the forefront. This stuff is not going to go away. This is going to stay with PlayStation's ecosystem for the most part so that they can take some of the fight to Xbox, who is sitting pretty on PC with almost no interruptions in their subscription service. I only have a little bit to just say here. The whole thing speaks for itself. This gaming industry and the gaming market has shifted so much that a redefinition has to be set in place. I was about to make a video about developers and how their focus, in my opinion, is way off. They are probably, in a sense, not looking at what's going on and are pursuing the tides rather than fighting for their games to appeal to their fans. They're engaged more inside of their own little bubbles, not realizing that the market doesn't care about their bubble. The market is going to come in and brutally shake things up so heavily that this whole competition that we're seeing, and even all of the different agencies across the board, indie games and so on and so forth, encroaching into AAA territory, is about to really make things so weird at the end of the day. Add that to the growth of the PC ecosystem and how that's also shaping up to be. Because right now, an indie developer can launch their game on PC, and if they market and channel it very well, the game can do very well without having to worry about the constraints of getting into the console ecosystem. Back then, you needed all this availability in a sense, but now you don't have that pressure. You could just focus, launch on PC, and then as you make money, you can use those funds because as an indie developer, your resources are limited, and those funds can basically take you into launching on the console ecosystem and doing respectable marketing to get your games out there. I'll rest my case here. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching the video. I'm sure that was probably a little bit more in contrast with all of the stuff you're hearing, right? You're hearing all these console fanboy warriors on YouTube talk all this talk, and yet Xbox is just like, we're digging our heels in, and PlayStation better follow quickly. Remember, told y'all, PlayStation needs a PC launcher. Been talking about this for the longest time. No one is saying anything. They're saying, oh, they need one. If they're not going to play in this ecosystem, they are already behind. They know it's not like they're going to be behind. They're already behind. They're years behind in basically coming into the PC ecosystem and having a friendly face. That's two things. When Xbox came in, nobody wanted to touch them. But now with Game Pass, they have more of a friendly face to the PC audience. PlayStation has to now come in and still build a relationship and show that it's serious about PC. If, again, like I said, they're steps behind in doing all these things. And if they're ready to do it, they'll do it. If not, hey, that's their prerogative. They can basically leave the platform. And Xbox and Steam and Epic are going to just sit here and enjoy themselves with very little, interruption to what's going on. Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.